Hi, everyone. Welcome back to another episode on the Unleashing Potentials podcast. My name is Bernadette, and I'm your host. Today's special guest is Darren. Darren, how are you?
Hey, how you doing, Bernard? Thank you for having me. It's definitely a pleasure. Looking forward to conversating with you and share with you.
You're welcome. Darren, whereabout are you?
I'm in West Philadelphia. That's where I reside in West Philadelphia. Been there all my life.
Mhm.
I moved to Camden at one time, but I came back to Philadelphia. So yeah, I've been there all my life.
Yeah, I'm laughing because maybe you moved because it was too cold.
It's cold right now, so I mean, I guess it was like in Camden is more, what I mean, you gotta have like a vehicle for like different places you need to go to. So it's like I got a vehicle now, but I didn't have one when I was in Jersey. So it's like,
Yeah.
what I mean, you gotta have, in order to really get places, you have to have a vehicle while you're over there. But it's
Yeah.
not like transportation that's over here in Philadelphia. So
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. So, Darren, why don't you start by telling us who you are and what you do?
okay, basically, well, my name is Darren McKoy. I go by the self-discovery and purpose navigator. I help men transform their lives through self-discovery and purpose so they could live their life with more meaning and fulfillment and add a contribution to the world. And a little bit about myself, my story is basically, during my life growing up, my family and society had made it absolutely clear to me that in order to be a man, I had to get a job and provide for my family. And I was all into that. I got married at a young age, had children at a young age, and I was determined that I was going to take care of my family, but it just wasn't as easy as I thought.
Mhm.
And I started jumping from job to job. I would work at a restaurant, then I do security, then I started working for a cleaning company. And I was doing any job that I could do to help me get ahead. Yet none of these jobs actually gave me what I wanted.
Mhm.
I was so frustrated that I would get up every day, go to the job, do the same thing. Now, I will work hard, but not receive recognition I felt I deserved and not moving up as I thought that I should. And I just was not where I wanted to be. I wanted to be in a place where money wouldn't be an issue. And I wanted to stop robbing Peter to pay Paul. But I knew my family wasn't complaining. But I wanted to do more for them. I wanted to take my wife on a honeymoon that we never had. I wanted to put my kids in a better school. I wanted to be in a neighborhood that was safe, but none of the jobs I had would ever get me there.
Mhm.
And I remember when I was trying to make extra income in any way that I could, and someone from a network marketing company came by our home to show us about network marketing. And I thought to myself, I'm going to try this. Anything to get to a place where I could do better for my family.
Mhm.
So I was invited to attend one of their big events. But their products and services, after viewing their products and services, that didn't catch my attention. What really caught my attention were the presenters that came to the stage and the messages that they were sharing, how inspirational and how moving they were. And I could see that the audience were impacted and their lives changed after hearing people sharing their message and everything like that. And I remember, and that reminded me of being on stage myself as a young adult. That's what I wanted to do. I wanted to be the one to help people change their lives.
Mhm.
But just as the idea came to my mind, I would just talk myself right out of it. I would say things like, that's risky business and I don't know what to do and how to do it. And I have a family to support and I need to be practical.
Mhm.
And family and friends suggested to me that I should work at a hospital because I get good benefits. And so I did that instead. Now, it was a fine job and I did receive the benefits, but it just didn't make me feel any better inside. I
Mhm.
knew there had to be something more to what I was currently doing. There had to be something better. You see, I was angry. I was discouraged. I was isolated. No one to talk to about what I wanted and what I wanted to do and the fact that I couldn't get there. And then I remember this quote by Winston Churchill that said, it's not enough to have lived. We should be determined to live for something. So then I started reading books on purpose and on personal development. And it
Mhm.
was time for me to start taking action on what I had learned. And I took that leap of faith and began sharing messages online about self-discovery and purpose. And slowly people began to tell me that they were inspired by my messages, that my messages were having a positive impact on their lives. And that felt so amazing to me. And then I realized what I'm supposed to be doing on this earth, and that's living my purpose. You see, we're not here to live our lives just for ourselves, but we're here to make an impact in the lives of others. And the only way to do that is to find out what our purpose is, what is our gift. And once we begin to develop that gift that we've been blessed with and move with purpose, we can do more for others, and we can do more for ourselves. And then we'll be able to add a contribution to the world. So that's my story, and that's what I'm sticking to, because I know there's men out here that needs to hear this story, men out there that trying to find out who they are, why they created, what they're created for, and what their responsibilities are. And I'm here to share that with each and every man.
Wow. We've already hitting it off in the interview here. You nailed some very key points that, if not every man in society struggles with, regardless of their race or age, because that's how, I'm not a man, so I'm gonna kind of tread a little carefully here, because that's how society, the expectation, provide, be strong, don't cry, don't be weak, and just be there with almost no emotions. And I'm just honored that I can hear your story, and many other men can hear your story, to know that it's not the end when they have fears, when expectations are not met, that it's not the end. Would you say that you found your purpose and calling in doing the work that you're doing?
Yeah, I basically, as I began to start reading more about who I was and what I was supposed to do and what my responsibilities are, I started focusing more on sharing that with other men, because I feel as though we as men, we're just living. We're just going through the motions, we're just going through life, and we don't have we're not living our life on a purpose. We're not carrying ourselves, but we have certain expectations we have to meet. So basically we gotta start walking in those expectations that we've been given. And that's the sign from our Creator. He wants us to move in our purpose and live in our purpose. And we as men, we need to start doing that. So when I started learning more about doing that, that's when I said, you know what, more men need to hear about. We need to hear about it. I started on myself first, and it's a learning process. I'm not saying that I basically have arrived, but I can help other men grow as I'm growing in the same direction. Also, we can all grow together.
Yeah. So do you help mostly men or just anyone?
Well, I'm basically focused. My niche is men. I do have women coming to me, so I gotta learn about that also. But I feel as though my niche basically is men right now, and I feel as though if the men, if you start with the men, if men follow into their purpose, then the women will follow. Their women will follow behind. So it's a woman not gonna follow somebody that's not going anywhere. So what I mean. So everything starts with the man. So when guys started giving the standards and everything like that, he was talking to man. Eve wasn't around yet. So so when Eve came, Adam already had a responsibility and everything that God gave him. So now it's saying he can help carry out that, and then Eve will follow behind it. So that's why I'm looking at that concept.
Yeah, I think regardless of who you help, you're still impacting.
Yes.
If you're working with the men, they go home, they have a family, and the wife's like, what happened to you? Something's different.
Yeah.
It's just like a mystery. Can't put their hands on it, and they're being impacted, and also the kids are impacted as well by the change that you're making.
Exactly, because they're not. You don't want to call them the head. What I mean? Because there's no thing as being head of a household, but they're the foundation. They're the one. They're the one that carries the weight of the house. So everything falls on them. So they set the standard and walk in the position that they've been labeled as. Then everybody else will follow behind. So their kids will walk with vision. Their wife will walk with vision and purpose. So, like you said, everything's set. The standards are starting with them.
Yeah, I agree. So do you get nervous when you're speaking?
No, right now, because I've been speaking most of the time. I've been speaking virtually. I haven't been on stage yet, but that's what I'm looking forward to one day, to be on stage. So it's not nervousness. I mean, I just get kind of, I don't let things flow sometimes. You know what I mean? And I try to do this and I try to do that, but you know, but as we're talking, things, when I remember things start coming to me, then
Yeah.
it's not a problem.
Yeah, yeah, that's awesome. So Darren, what was your childhood like?
Well, my childhood was basically growing up, uh, getting a job like the parents saying, you go to school,
Mm,
get good grades, and find a good job, get married. That's the standard, you know. And a lot of people go through the same thing that I probably basically went go through that. My childhood wasn't at that wasn't rough or anything like that. I didn't really get
mhm,
into trouble that much and anything, but as far as the standard, going to school, get good grades, and getting married, I mean, get good grades, get a job, get married.
mm.
That's basically what my childhood was. I mean, um, it wasn't anything basically that was exciting or anything like that. I mean, just being a youth, you know what I mean? So just being a child. So it
Yeah.
wasn't really anything exciting.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Mhm.
What is your source of motivation?
My source of motivation is, I mean, I'm excited for this because when I learned what my purpose was, like I said, I wanted to share with other men,
Mm,
and I heard about this. First of all, let me share what purpose is.
yes.
Since we're talking about that,
Mhm,
purpose is, I heard a lot of different definitions on purpose, but the main definition that I heard that I really like is like, purpose is the original intent for the creation of a thing, the reason why a thing exists. So basically, um just because I'm a man, I'm not going to ask another man how I should live. You know what I
mm,
mean? We're both products of the creator God.
mhm,
So why would I go to another man and ask another man how to be a man when I could go to
mhm.
the creator? The creator, he's the one that made me. So he's the one that's going to show me how I should live, how I should carry myself, how I should be around other people. So and I adopted 5 questions that I heard that in order for men to find out what their purpose is in their life. And the 5 questions would be, the first question would be, is who am I? Now, who am I is dealing with your identity. We're walking around, um, how can I put it? We gotta really identify who we really are. When I say identity, for example, I'm not saying what your occupation is. I'm asking you, who are you really?
Yeah.
You need to find out who you really are.
Mhm,
And number 2 would be, where am I from? Where am I from is dealing with your spiritual heritage.
mhm,
Number 3 would be, why am I here? Why am I here? That's dealing with your purpose. You got to find out what is it that you're here to do. Number 4, would be, um, what can I do? What can I do is dealing with your potential. We got so much potential out here, and saying there's so much that we can do. It's so much we're capable of doing. We need to find out what the potential, what is it that we can do on a daily basis. And number 5 is, where am I going? Where am I going is basically dealing with your destiny. Where are you going in your life? You know what I mean? What is it? What is your plan? What do you have established for you and your family and your generations to come? So those are the 5 standards that I feel as though each man should go by. And what I also share is, from those 5 steps, I really focus on the number one thing, the number one step, which is, who am I? The 4 from the question, who am I? There are 4
mhm,
steps to that also. The 4 steps is, who am you got to answer, who am I? The second step you got to is, why am I created? Number 3 is what I'm created for,
mhm,
and number 4 would be, what are my responsibilities? So if each man could answer those 4 steps from that particular number 1 question, then I
mhm,
feel as though they'll find out, they'll be able to live their life with purpose and fulfillment and add a meaning to the world.
mhm. Yeah, I love that. Yeah, I think you answered the 5 whys, I call them. What, when, where, who, why, when.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah, I love that. Yeah, you talked about potentials. I love that.
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
that's why I named the podcast Potentials, the Unleashing Potentials podcast, because I think so many of us have more to give,
Mhm.
but we hinder ourselves. We don't really release and let ourselves go to see what could be. We crumble under fear,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And you also talked about God. What does your faith mean to you?
My faith means so much to me. Sometimes I admit sometimes I don't expand my faith as much as I should. You know what I mean? Because sometimes when you're going through it, you want to focus on the problem all the time, saying, but you need to take your eyes off the problem and have faith that things are going to work out for you. And then now I'm not going to sit here and say that I'm all, because I haven't, like I said, I haven't arrived. You know what I'm saying, and I haven't got there. There's still so much to learn in life. So I'm not going to continue to say, oh, I always have faith in something, because I don't always do. But the standard is you got to have faith in whatever you're doing throughout life, because, and sometimes when you look at the problem, sometimes the problem is like it just goes away once you put your faith into it. You be like, oh, that wasn't so bad anyway. You know what I mean? So once you start putting your faith into things, then faith has a way of working things out for you. So that's basically, you got to keep that standard and focus on your faith.
Yeah, as you were speaking of faith, a Bible verse came to me. I don't know which chapter it's in. Faith without works is dead.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah. Which I love that. Yeah. What are some methods that you use to help your clients? Do you do workshops, or they have different materials to read? What do you do?
Well, I'm working on I have a download that I'm going to share with you. It's called the Who Am I starter kit for men. Kickstart their self-discovery journey. And I'm working, they could get, I'll give you the link so they can download that free guide. And I'm working on putting together a course. I want to release that soon. So I'm looking together, put together a course. And basically, I'm just sharing on my information on different podcast programs that I'm able to get on. So right now, I'm working on different things, and I'm looking to probably release some probably before this year is out, or not this year, going to next year. But I'm right now I'm just focused on being consistent in what I'm doing, sharing my message, sharing my story, and helping men through my story, and sharing the link to the download to different podcasts or social media, wherever I can share it at for them to get that information.
Yeah, I love that. Speaking of podcasts, tell me more about your podcast, A Life with
A
Purpose.
life with purpose.
Yeah.
Yes. Well, that's going to be going to in transition pretty soon. I'm going to be switching it over, because when I first started the podcast, A Life with Purpose, I was just getting everybody on there that was dealing with purpose, men, women, and everything. But as I started focusing more on men, I said I gotta have this podcast more linked to men, where men can have somewhere to go to, so it could be just for them. Not saying I'm not leaving the women out of it, but it's saying, but if that's going to be my focus, then I need to focus on more on making that podcast just for men. So I'm pretty soon it's going to be in the transition where it's going to go into that way.
When did you start your podcast?
I believe I don't. I'm trying to remember if I think it was like a year or two, something like that. If I remember, I can't remember off the top of my head, but I know it's been a minute. So it's been a while since I had that up.
If you could go back to your 18-year-old self, what would you say to him?
What I can say is basically what I was sharing in my story. It's more to life than what I'm currently doing. I feel as though that that's the way to go, because that's how I was taught. You, this is the standard. This is what you gotta go by. This is the way of living. which is
Mhm.
really not, so
Mhm.
for example, I want to share something real quick.
Mhm.
A bird, a young bird is born,
Mhm.
and the young bird is in its nest, and the mother is always protecting the bird, watching out for the baby bird. But eventually, when the bird is born, the bird can fly,
Mhm.
but the bird doesn't know that it can fly yet. So that's the way it is with us. You're saying we have a purpose in our lives, but we don't know what that purpose is. So with the bird is not trying to, and I have a thing where how this ties in together.
Mhm.
With a lot of people say you need to find your purpose. Well, I'm saying that I don't really agree with that.
Mhm.
You have to discover what your purpose is. You see, we've all been like the bird. The bird is born to fly, but the bird hasn't discovered that it can fly. The bird
Mhm.
is not trying to find out how to fly. The bird already knows how to fly. It
Mhm.
just hasn't discovered how to spread its wings yet, how to flap its wings and start flying through the air and land into different areas or different destinations need to go. And that's the same thing it is with our purpose. And so we have to discover what that purpose is. Once we discover that purpose, we're able to go to any place or any lens or do anything with our lives that we're focused on doing. So don't try to find your purpose. You need to discover your purpose because you have the purpose in you already. It's already in you. So what you need to do is just branch out and discover what that purpose is for your life.
Ooh, I've never heard it put that way. I've always heard, find it, but
Yeah,
you're saying
yeah,
that it's already there. Just
yes,
grab
yeah,
it, reach for it, and use it.
yes.
That
Because
is so cool.
because that was we've been already. He gave us everything that we need. It's already in us. You know what I mean? So
Mm.
why I'm asking myself, well, why I'm trying to find something that's already in me? You know what I mean? It's already there for me. That's why I use the analogy of the bird for you. You can help people get a better understanding. The bird has wings to fly. You just haven't flapped it yet. so so once he start flapping his wings and know that he can fly anywhere he want to go at, hey,
Yeah, yeah,
yeah, the sky's the limit. The
yeah,
sky's
yeah.
the limit.
I feel that for me, for most people, they just got pushed off the cliff.
Yeah, 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 yeah,
Whether
yeah.
you fly or not, you just gotta do something to land safely.
And I did read up how the I did read of how the mother bird she does that because I did read the mother bird would take the bird, the young bird up, and I think she would drop it. Now either the bird is gonna if the bird is going if the mother bird gonna drop you,
Yeah,
either you're gonna flap your wings or you're gonna land on the ground hard.
yeah.
So, so either way, you're gonna have to learn. You're gonna discover it then.
Yeah,
So to say, the more you flap your wings, the better off you're going to be.
yeah,
So
yeah. Just like Nemo, just keep swimming.
exactly, exactly.
Yeah, yeah. What are some key points that you want men, also my guests, to get from this episode?
Well, the key points, the 5 points that I gave earlier about
Mhm.
how to discover your purpose, and the other 4 points I put down about why am I here? I mean, why am I here? um what am I created for, why am I created, and the responsibilities. And I think those are will really help men discover who they are, what they need to do, and where they're going.
Mhm.
That's my major key right there. Those standards right there. So and like I said, I got them in the free guide that I will share with you later on.
Okay, okay. Yeah. So do you read or listen to music? What do you do to feed your soul?
Well, I listen to gospel music every now and then. I listen to Holy Culture Radio. That's I'm big into rap. I used to rap when I was younger and everything. So I didn't know that but I
Nice.
didn't know you could rap for Christ. So
Wow.
yeah, I listened to that because I used to rap and it was one time I rapped on a friend of mine's CD
Mhm.
um doing gospel rap. So, but I never knew you could do that. So, and I listen to that more and more. There's a lot of artists, gospel rap artists
Yeah.
out there. But sometimes I still listen to my other music. But I'm more into I'm focusing more to be in gospel music and reading, and I love to read, especially when it comes to this topic. I mean, when you find something that you really love to do, you start reading more and more up on it. You know what I mean? I read self-discovery books. I read purpose books. I read I'm more into with the online thing. I guess I'm more old school. I like to get the physical books. I mean, I'll listen to, if I don't have time to read a physical book, I'll have something in my car that I listen to on my Bluetooth and everything. But I'm more physical book because I can outline stuff and stuff I don't remember, I can go back to it and read it all over again. And you notice sometimes some of us, especially myself, sometimes I'll read something but I don't catch it right there and then. But if I go back and that's why this is going on and stuff like that. You know what I mean? So it's like those are the key things that I do to keep, because you gotta keep educating yourself. You gotta keep growing. You gotta keep developing. You gotta keep it going. Just because you read one book, you get a list of information here, and say you gotta keep growing and growing and growing and learn more, because there's so much out here to learn about. And there's so much out here to do. So I try to keep myself fresh in everything that I do.
That's awesome. Do you have some favorite books that you'd like to recommend to my audience, and why would you recommend them?
I read The Pursuit of Purpose by Miles Monroe. I think it's In Pursuit of Purpose by Miles Monroe. There's another book, The Purpose and Power of Men. I think that's also by Miles Monroe. Think and Grow Rich. How to win friends and influence people. There's so many books. Those are just some books that I read.
That's awesome. Do you have any final thoughts or anything we haven't covered that you'd like to talk about?
I think the last thing I would like to share is I want to share a story with everyone. And if you catch this, because it looks like it caught me, it would probably open your eyes up a lot. There was a man, I'm gonna paraphrase it a little bit. There was a man that was walking through an elephant camp, and he saw these elephants, and he saw that the elephants were tied up by the leg. And when he looked at what was tying them up, it was like a small piece of rope that was tied to their legs. And he was wondering, well, why wasn't the elephants able to escape? Because the elephants are so strong, they could just pull away from this small piece of rope that was tying them down. So he saw one of the trainers in the elephant camp, and he walked over to him and he said, sir, why are the elephants not trying to escape? They're strong enough to pull away from the rope. And the man said, well, when they was young, they tied them up by their leg, by that small piece of rope. And ever since they grew up, they've been conditioned to feel as though they can't escape, because they said they still had that same mindset when they was young, that they were tied to the rope. So my thing to say to you is, whatever's holding you back in your life, you can remove yourself from that rope. You don't have to be tied down. You could do whatever it is that you want in your life. Just remove yourself from that rope, because you can, as you continue to grow, you don't need to be hanging on to that rope anymore. You're conditioned. You don't have to be conditioned by that anymore. There's something that you're out there to do, and you need to remove yourself from that rope.
Oh, I love that. 2 questions for you as we wrap up. What is the meaning of life for you?
The meaning of life to me is live on purpose and help others. Take the gift that you've been given. The gift that you've been given with is not just for you. the gift that you've been given is to use to help your fellow man.
Mhm.
So that's the key to life. We all supposed to be here to help one another with something. Life ain't about you. Life is about focusing on helping your fellow man. That's the key to life to me.
Yeah, I love that. Final question for you. Where can my listeners find you and support the work that you're doing?
They can find me on they can check out my YouTube page. I'm gonna give you the link to that. They can also find me on my website, navigatorofpurpose.com. They can
Mhm.
also find me on Facebook. See, I gotta give you the links because I don't remember the links.
Oh, no,
And
right.
yeah, I'm on they can find me on Instagram, instagram.com/, self-discovery navigator.
Mhm.
And yeah, I'm gonna give you all the links that but they can find me on those different areas.
Okay, sounds good. Well, Darren, thank you so much for your time. Thank you for the message you bring, the hope, and for helping us all realize that we are more than we deem to be when it comes to, expectations and everything else.
You're very welcome. Thank you for having me, and I'm looking forward to maybe I come back later on and share some of us later on
Yeah,
in life.
definitely.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but I thank you for having me and giving me helping me to be featured on your platform to share with other men about self-discovery and purpose.
Yes, always. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah.